Hello, hello. How are you guys doing tonight? I just thought I would pop on for a SOS tarot reading for Tarot Tuesday and see what's going on. So let's dive in. Let's see what's happening in the universe. There's so many energies. There's a few collective energies, but most of all, I still feel like we are in this immense time of choice and change, and a real understanding of where we are now in the grand context of everything that we know and everything that we don't know. And really coming to terms with our path so far and preparing ourselves mentally, physically, spiritually to embark on this next phase of our journey. So there's so much, but there should be a more peaceful feeling of what has already happened in your life. So your past experiences, you should be integrating those, healing that energy, and feeling more prepared to step into whatever may come for the future. Now, there still may be a lot of question marks in terms of what is coming for you in the future. You will likely have messages coming from your guides, your ancestors, synchronicities. You might also feel like you're in a time of silence or non-communication. And there are these tests of will happening. Hi, Teresa, where I feel like we're being tested in different ways in terms of pressure gauges to maybe calculate what's to come in a way. You might be experiencing this as well, where you know that there's something really important coming up. You know that there's a few choice points, so a few pathways that are available, and you're not exactly sure how it's going to play out in terms of serendipity, destiny, fate, but you are aware, most likely, of the power you have in the choice and the power you have in the surrender. So really balancing the two, taking action, knowing what you want, getting clear, finding peace, finding balance with where you are right now, but also recognizing where you can't take action, where you must surrender, where you have to find perhaps patience when all you want to do is move, all you want is movement, action, and Spirit is asking you for more grace, more patience. And so it's a very intriguing time as an intuitive, as a psychic, because there's so much you know, but there's so much you know that you don't know. So it's a really intriguing time right now. And it certainly is absolutely more than I've ever felt in my life. A time of something coming to conclusion. It might be a huge karmic cycle. And when I say huge, I mean this could be 1,000 years of a certain pattern or lesson that you have completed and you're moving forward. So it can feel really almost nostalgic letting go of this pattern, because your spirit, your soul has worked on it for so long that you might feel like a fish out of water having completed it. So there might be a little bit of kind of grief, anger, irritation, but you might not know exactly where it's directed towards. You might have some indications in your dreams of certain wounds or triggers that are still coming up for you that might just be the kind of the little slivers, the splinters that are still just coming up to be released. And hopefully that's not too overpowering for you at this time, but there are probably a couple smaller things that are coming through for processing, so that we can clear the heart space, because you might feel the heart space is very heavy right now. I know mine is. My communication is great. There's real enforcement of boundaries. There's understanding of boundaries, and looking back at where boundaries were non-existent or just not quite embodied. And I've talked about that before, where you might think in the ego side of things that you have boundaries and that you're enforcing those, that those come across to people in your energy field and the way you communicate, etc. However, you might learn a big lesson, or you might have a situation where you suddenly realize, oh, wow, okay, I've given way too many chances. My tolerance level was really high, and someone else would have totally said bugger off 10 years ago, right? So there's definitely this peaceful understanding of boundaries. So that might be coming through as well, where you may be cutting off people, you may be cutting off friendships because there's been a betrayal, or there's been, I find there's a strange thing happening right now with thresholds and people's mental health. But you know, there's a level of which you can show compassion and understanding and work with somebody. And then there's that level where there's a line where if you cross it, you're actually sacrificing yourself, your own integrity, your own self-discipline. And so you may find that you have to let people go for now. And that could be forever. It could be for a certain time, but you'll know, you'll have that clear understanding that, okay, no. And you're not going to have to defend yourself. You're not going to want to try to fix it, or you're just going to, nope, I see something here that's not right. There's gossip, or there's something where there's trust been broken, and you're just leaving it behind because you're not interested in that drama. So truth, honesty, respect, integrity, we're really honing in on that. We're really focusing in on that. So Teresa, I feel you. The heart heaviness. I was on my walk with my dog this afternoon, and I was just thinking, no, my heart's felt so heavy for so long that it almost feels like a natural state now. And I do feel that I'm more guarded, more protected, just because of the experiences I've had in the last year and a half or whatnot. But there's this desire to have that softness, that nurturing, that love energy for myself, and also in connection with others. So it's something to consider, to bring that warmth in where you can yourself, and really work on that heart chakra, whether that's with meditation music, certain frequencies that you want to work with, the color green, the color pink. You can start small, or you can really go into that self-talk and really talk to yourself. I love you. I'm so proud of you. I really want to celebrate where we are or where I am, however you communicate with yourself. And, you know, in the morning you wake up, you know, it's good to see you. I'm glad you hung in there. Whatever you have to do, because there's this energy of being spiritually advanced right now and having a lot of mastery. But as I said before, as I aforementioned, it's kind of, there's this also this feeling of, okay, is this it? Like, is this all there is? You know, is this the best that I can create and or can be co-created with spirit? So you might be going up and down in those energies. So that's kind of the only big energies that I've been picking up on and focusing on is really negative or positive self-talk. The heart being heavy or feeling cold. I'm really focusing on warming that area up, bringing flow through, remembering balance in terms of justice, and talking to your guides and talking to the universe on that adjustment of balance or harmony in your own life and in your relationships, and how you're looking at your past and how you're looking at your future. So it can be a little bit layered in how you're processing that, but stay gentle with yourself, because we're still transmuting huge amounts of energy. There's still a lot of spikes going on with the Schumann resonance, and there's a lot of astrology happening too. And you might feel overwhelmed in certain areas. So your spirit might be putting a block on certain things for you. For me, for instance, I usually look at astrology quite a bit. Now I'm not, because I'm filtering what's coming through right now, because I'm kind of saturated in terms of what I'm already dealing with. So I want to protect myself, and that includes social media, television, you know, I was going to say criminal activities is something that popped into my mind. Criminal activities. It's like, you know, keeping yourself distanced from that. Also addictions, really focusing on how you can adjust in terms of treating yourself with respect and celebrating yourself, just doing your absolute best to steer clear and or work towards a healthier lifestyle, a healthier balance. So that's everything for the channeling side of things, for energies and messages I wanted to talk about, to bring through. And then it's a smaller reading today, and I always say that, and who knows what it'll turn out to be, but I did a couple different pulls. So I wanted to pull a shapeshifter card because the energies are transforming. I want to see what's going on with the transforming energies. I've got an animal oracle card, which will kind of show us what spirit medicine we're working with in terms of what we can focus on from the animal representatives. And then a mystical wisdom card. I just love them. They're so pretty. I've got a wild woman card. Those ones are usually really deep, really introspective. So I wanted to go with at least one of those cards. Then I'm using my own Shadow Fantasy Oracle and the Kindred Spirit Love Oracle to see where we are past, present, future-wise. Quick snapshot. I don't want to do anything big because it's moving so quickly that if we really tried to go into a big reading, you know, it would probably shift and change very quickly. So right now I'll just, you know, say these are very, you know, limited in their scope and perspective. But that being said, it also depends on where you are in the space-time continuum. So, and yes, I've been focusing more too on timelines and spiritual advancement, and just it's strange. I don't know if any of you feel spliced, if you feel like you're a starseed or you're working with Pleiades or Orion or different energies there. You're probably working with guides on the other side, but not really being able to integrate the energies that are coming back through your astral travel or dream time. So it can be a little bit strange, but just remember your soul is remembering. So you'll know what you need to know, and that information will come through when you require it. You just might feel a little bit discombobulated at present, and you might be feeling very tired with no real cause of being tired. So you might want to get a lot of extra sleep. Okay, so let's start with the Shadow Fantasy Oracle, past, present, future, and then the romance side of that. So what romantic energies have we been working with here? So telepathy. We definitely have a lot of telepathy happening with your guides, with your loved ones, with your friends, with your family. There's a lot of communication going on in the ethers, so to speak. So you might also, if you put out a question to the universe should answer you quite quickly through synchronicity, numbers, animals, even audio, clairvoyance. And those questions should be answered. Now, if they're not being answered, that likely means that at this point, the pieces aren't together to provide you that answer. So if you're asking and you're asking and you're asking and you're asking, then you're starting to miss the point of acceptance, and it's time to stop asking the same question over and over and over. So come at it at a different angle. Start to get creative. Use that higher vision medicine. So eagle vision. Okay, there's something that I'm missing, but I don't want to beat a dead horse in terms of asking why has this happened, or why is this happening, or why isn't that happening, and going, okay, this is my present. What can I do to make myself more comfortable or to utilize this time more efficiently? So you can also telepathically, like I said, talk to romantic partners. This will be one of the biggest influxes in twin flame energy, in soulmate energy. There might even be choices between the two. You might have a soulmate and a twin flame. You might have two soulmates coming in. I've received a lot of information, and I'm not sure if this is the same for all the signs, but if you were watching this for some reason, you need to hear this message. So there might be a choice between two people. There might be a choice between three people. There might be a choice between two jobs. There might be a choice between two locations. Excuse me. Obviously, there's something to do with like, oh, cat got your tongue. Like this might take you by surprise, or you might feel constricted by this for a moment, you should be able to gain your balance pretty quickly. So if something does shock you or surprise you or come through, trust yourself to take some time and make a valid decision that's not rushed, that's well thought out, that's strategized, and that balances the heart, the mind, the soul. So using all the lessons that you've learned, essentially ever, that you can recall and that you've integrated in these choice points that are coming up. But telepathically, you might also be receiving messages through songs of your partner sending you messages. You guys are talking. You guys are communicating. So if you can't hear them, maybe work on opening up that reception. Okay, so the breathe in, breathe out. I receive easily. I give easily. I receive easily. Whichever one you're focusing on, the feminine or the masculine energy, the masculine being the giver, the feminine being the receiver. So if you're balancing the two, whichever one you've been most dominant in the past, you're focusing on that now because you're balancing the energies out. So I'm open to receiving new love. I'm open to receiving communication. I'm open to serendipitous moments. I'm open to being surprised, pleasantly surprised, or whatever. You can work on your own affirmations, but there's something to do with the ears too. And that's interesting. You guys will have to let me know if you resonate with this, because they're saying the ears, the ears, the ears. You guys might have ringing in the ears, or you might feel like have vertigo, or you're a little bit off balance lately. There might be something, more to do spiritually and psychically with why there's something happening with the ears. Maybe an upgrade to do with the telepathy so that we can hear things on a different level. That's interesting. That is totally new. That is just coming through right now. So let me know if you guys have any of those kind of symptoms, spiritual symptoms of ear issues. Anyway, so telepathy, really big right now. Use it to your advantage. Manifest with telepathy. Talk to your person. If they're not in your sphere, then hey, I'm really excited to meet you. I'm super excited to travel. I'm really excited for someone who's honest and loyal. You know, I display those qualities. That's what I'm looking for. I'm excited to see how that manifests in my life. You can play with how you're manifesting and you're also communicating with your loved one or loved ones. And if there is a choice, you can just say, hey, like, I know what I'm worth. Do you? Do you know? So show me that you know. And that can also be part of this. So I'm interested to see what the romance connection is with this. Ooh. So yes, this is absolutely no surprise whatsoever. Broken trust. Someone has cheated themselves out of a loving partner by breaking the bond of trust. This individual has much spiritual work to do and must choose to take responsibility for their actions. It is wise to distance yourself from such a person at this time, or understand that you broke a bond based on trust. This instability is based in fear of rejection and not knowing the self. Choose authenticity over deception and free yourself. So this is an interesting card indicating that in the past we've perhaps all experienced a deception from a friend, a deception from a past romantic partner, or we have deceived ourselves. And this was part of maybe some telepathic messages coming through, because if we're going to connect the two, if someone, say, cheated on you or was deceiving themselves and couldn't communicate their feelings properly, or just never really showed up or followed through, and if you're looking at yourself and your actions honestly, then it's not you. So if it's you, it's asking you to take responsibility for broken trust and work on that in the future for being loyal and supportive. But there also may have been messages coming through telepathically with an apology or with communication in some way, describing why that something happened the way it was. And since it's in the telepathic realm, I think what this is also saying is there might be a lot of 5D communication happening, whereas the 3D communication hasn't manifested yet. So it may never manifest, but it might manifest. So that's just something to take into consideration. All right, so let's see what we have in the present. Ooh, interesting. Hidden depths. There's definitely something about the collective energy, but also energies that are happening within our own lives. There's a lot that we cannot see at present. So this can be a person where, they've just shown you the kind of surface level of themselves. And yet there's this whole nother world there that they haven't had the courage to bring forward yet to themselves and or to you. So that can be you too. You can be working on the surface level and really kind of getting ready to show your hidden depths, show those maybe hidden emotions, communicate hidden emotions. And we'll see how that connects to the romance card. But there's definitely a lot going on beneath the surface that we can't see. So this would be like to the moon card in the tarot. There's a lot being illuminated. There's a lot of wounding work being done, shadow work being done, healing from the root cause, seeing things. So having clear sight, intuitive sight. This isn't just what you can see. This is what you can't see as well. So you're really using your intuition. Your messengers are telling you a lot that you may never get confirmation in the 3D for. And that's going to be perhaps difficult for a little while. But I think as we move forward here, we're going to get more used to that, actually communicating and knowing things from the 5D that we may or may not get to play out in the 3D. So let's see how that pairs up with our romance card. Whoops, sorry guys. We have listen. Okay. It's talking about the ears, you guys. Hello. Oh, it's all, sometimes I'm even like, huh? So someone has difficulty truly listening and may only be hearing what they want to hear. Listening involves paying attention to words, body language, gut reactions, and subtle energy shifts. It's time to slow down and pay close attention to what a person is revealing through their communication or lack thereof. So if you're waiting on communication from someone, note that their lack of communication is communication in itself. They are not ready to open up. They're not ready to communicate. They're working on themselves. They are putting themselves as a priority and or focused entirely on something else. And so it might be wise to move your energy from a waiting energy or an anticipatory energy to something that you can control or you have some action energy towards that can be manifesting a new energy in and or reconciling that within yourself so that that waiting energy is still addressed, but you're not waiting on someone else's action or non-action. I hope that makes sense to you. And I just saw 2323 on the timestamp, so 55. So if you guys are seeing the 555 sequence, then this applies to you more so than others. And so this can be you. You can have difficulty listening and paying attention to what's being said and what's not being said. But this could be also someone that you are either spiritually connected with or that you've been connected with in the past. But this person perhaps is also not listening, which is why perhaps there's a lack of communication and or a delay in connection. There's a lot of delays because for some reason, this is like a seam. If you were to picture the universe weaving a big piece of a blanket into the tapestry that's already here, in past, present, future, and timelessness, it's like spirit is weaving something in, inserting something because we've done so much work, we've upgraded. There's this new level, this new piece to the entire sequence of everything of life. And so we might be hearing messages to be patient. There's a delay. There's something going on. And fortunately and unfortunately, when you're incarnated in a body, you can either be really receptive to that and be like, okay, I'm just going to have fun. Like, this is, my kick at the can. I'm just going to enjoy myself while I'm here. And others of you might be more stubborn, like me, and kind of be like, okay, well, I want to be doing more than this. I want to be, and it doesn't have to be in a workaholic way, but there's just something in your spirit that's going, okay, what's the delay for? I'm confused here. I dotted my I's, I crossed my T's, and I'm just chilling. And it feels like I've been chilling in the hangman position for a little while too long. So continuing that receptivity and that patience, once you've crossed this line, and I kind of connect that to say you're with a partner and you have an expectation of a proposal. And you're with this person for 3 or 4 years. And so you're like, okay, well, I really expect to be proposed to anytime. And then they don't propose, and then you're still together, and you're together 5 years hits. And now there's something to do with that expectation being disintegrated. So it's kind of works in the reverse, because say that person decides to propose at year 5, and you're kind of like, well, the ship already sailed, the excitement's gone, because there was an expectation 2 years ago that was going to happen. So be careful with the structure and the rigidity around the timeline. If Spirit says there's a delay, unfortunately, I'm just going to put it out there. You're going to have to get right with that, because there's nothing you can do to force something to happen sooner than it's ready. So it's kind of harsh. There's some harsh energies, but it's something to do with a very deep level of acceptance as well. So just listen. And since we already had the message about the ears, I think this is more important. And I also noted, it doesn't say pay attention. It says pay close attention. So whatever comes through, if you have messages come through, if you have offers come through, if a new house or location or friendship comes through, pay close attention to what's not being said, right? The hidden depths. Pay attention to the surface that you can see, but also listen to your instincts and your intuition on what's not being said, what's missing here. I just need to kind of also take that into consideration. So future, illuminating options. Okay, we have a lot of water happening with these cards too, you guys. So I created these, and each single one of these has water. This means that the emotions are being stirred. So that's that heart chakra energy again that we were talking about. But the illuminating options for me was essentially looking at the paths that you actually have. So if you feel trapped, if you feel like there's nowhere to go, then there are paths available. You might need to get creative about changing the angle, changing the perception, and finding opportunities. Also, listening and paying close attention to hidden opportunities that illuminate here. Okay, so if you've been waiting for something and it all of a sudden shows up and you're like, oh, it's not the right time for me. Like, I'm comfortable. I don't know about this. Those are the types of events that I feel like are going to be coming through, where we think we're ready and it happens, and we're actually fairly shocked that it happened. So there's that energy of illuminating options. There's choices to be made. There's different paths to take. So start, I guess, trying to get into a playful mood about having multiple options, multiple paths on the table. It's not just one path that you're destined to take. You have options of a few different paths that will ultimately still bring you spiritual growth and evolution. So, whoa, that's totally bizarre. Would have been more bizarre if they were paired together. But in the same reading, that's still pretty wild. So our illuminating options is paired with my romance card of telepathy. So this is really strange. This connection has past life origins and is a soul bond. This may be a karmic cycle or a beautiful lesson in relationship. No matter the outward appearance, there is love at the base of this connection on all levels. Separation is an illusion, and you may focus on the illusion or the truth. Communicate with love telepathically. So if you guys already know who your twin flame is, there would be no doubt in your mind or your spirit. You would try to get away from it. It's something that you just, okay, you accept. I can't get away from that. It is the way it is. Coming back to a place of love for any of your soulmates, for any of those deep soul bonds. I mean, they're always catalysts, and we might go through periods of anger, of frustration, of disappointment, of grief, of agony. But at the end of the day, there's this understanding that twin flames, soulmates, soul bonds, we can't necessarily know whether they're an ally or adversary, because each has their own advantages to our soul growth. So perhaps as well, the telepathy that's coming through your twin flame and or soulmate might be actually communicating with you to help illuminate the options. So this is still a path. You might have thought this path is dead, but it's still open. Or you thought this path was open, but it's actually dead. So don't continue on this path. You know, I'm not ready, or I don't want to commit, or you want children and I don't. They might be sending you this powerful, important information. And so pay attention and listen. And if there's a new energy coming through, maybe they're saying, you know, take action, get ready to take action. And you might have to say yes to a total surprise date offer. Someone offers to take you on a date, or sends you a love message, or shows up in your doorstep and serenades you. Like, there might be some strange things that happen in terms of our romantic connections, because there are some destined energies here, but there's also those choice points here. And so I don't think things are set in stone right now. So listen and also communicate clearly with what you want and what you need. If someone's broken your trust, you can communicate with them. You know, I don't trust you, show me that I can trust you, or whatever it is for you. You might have some sort of symbol that you might want to use too. So if my soulmate is near, show me hawk, or show me a white bunny rabbit, or whatever you want to do so that you can actually actively be communicating with what's coming in for you. But definitely, since it's in our future position, we're either starting up a new karmic cycle. We don't need to look at karma as positive or negative. It just is. And a beautiful lesson in relationships coming. But remember, the card, you know, the words say, there is love at the base of this connection on all levels. Separation is an illusion. You may focus on the illusion or the truth. So since we are illuminating options, let's illuminate the truth. What is the truth? So continue on your search for the truth, because I think that you have also been searching for the truth. So let's see what our shapeshifter energy is. Miss Spiderweb. Reconsider your alliances. Who? Make new connections. Resonating to the number 5. So you guys who have been watching since the beginning, this reading has a lot of interconnected points, but it's covering a lot of breadth, right? So there's a lot that Spirit's trying to cover. And, you know, I do think I touched on this briefly, that when we lose friends or we lose partners, it can be really traumatic and it can be a deep struggle. We can seek control. We can have, you know, obsession, or I'm trying to think of fixation. But, you know, as we heal, as we move forward, that should dissipate, and you should begin to feel more ready to move forward, more ready to accept the new journey on the hero's path. So let's see what Miss Spiderweb says. But as I was just going to say, when we're letting go of people, you know, Spirit is making room for new people to come in. And you probably had messages saying there's someone in your midst that is gossiping, or there's someone in your midst that is falling out of your frequency. And then boom, you figured out who it was, and now they're gone. It's great. Like, things are happening and clearing up really well. So it's, I don't know, it feels like there is flow, even though there also feels like a lot of stagnancy in certain areas. So spiders are so beautiful and patient, so hardworking and clever. They are self-sufficient. They may inspire fear in some people, but they are most often creators of the most complex threads and patterns, and they do this each day. Makes me think of strong men and women who are really authentic to their path. You know, some people fear them, but they are authentic in their patterns and their threads, and they work at it each day. Their threads are gossamer fine, like fairy dresses and magical garments, but they are the canny spider's way of feeling the vibrations of the world around them. Listen, pay attention. A home as well as a net in which to catch what nourishment is needed. You too must be more mindful at present. Listen to your spider familiar. Ask Miss Spiderweb where would be best for you to weave these connections. Wonder what it is you truly need. Ask your spider familiar to clearly show you what vibrations and energetic messages you are currently ignoring. What opportunities are flying by uncaught? Very interesting. When a spider comes to you, as I do, it is time to reconsider your connections so you can catch a fly. Your every phone call, your every conversation, your every thought connects you energetically to another. Weaving and weaving, circling round and round, we hang suspended in the net of connection together. When you have me with you, you will begin to understand what must be rewoven and rewired, interesting, within these relationships. Some cords must be retraced, re-strengthened again and again, and others must be taken down, removed, or recreated in fresh territory. I, the spider, wait, and you too must weave the web of your life and wait. If you have patience and tenacity, what you have been waiting for will find its way into your silken threads. Make sure that where you are weaving your web is the right place for you. Otherwise, you are likely to catch what is not needed. Wow, that's very powerful. Divination. Prepare for a time when you reevaluate your connections. Wow, illuminating options. As well as the value of where and with whom you network. You will soon begin to shift your focus of communication to a place that will see you prosper, grow, and thrive. It is time to capture some of your dreams. By placing your efforts in the right place and by speaking to people who can help you. You will need to initiate this activity yourself and stop relying on other people. Miss Spiderweb is asking you to get very interactive with your capturing of information, leads, and prosperity. So you might have to do a little legwork here, even if it means remaking what you felt was already in place. That one's really challenging, especially if you're stubborn. So like me, I just moved into this place, but I just moved 6 months ago too, and now I moved again, which is great because I love this space way more, which is why I moved. But I still had to move twice in 1 year, and that's already a trigger for me. So when I read this, I'm like, what if there's an opportunity and they're like, hey, can you relocate? And it's like, are you serious right now? So what I was saying before are there are these very big opportunities coming. We're going to have to be really flexible about what we want here. And I think that's why we've had so much time of introspection to figure out what our priorities are. So it says, this magical companion will show you how, where, when. And once you do, you will know why. There we go. So when the timing's right, you'll know the why. There will soon be new technologies, new connections, new locations, and new people in your life. Weave your web wisely. You will be rebuilding social networks, closing down old websites, removing yourself from the web for a time, and extricating yourself from friendships that keep you stuck in the old you. Okay, wow. So we talked a lot about that already, but that's a huge message of creation and destruction and building our energy field so that we're receptive to catching what we need to catch, right? So we really need to weave that web and be paying attention to opportunities, nurturance. Even if you're looking for love, listen when someone says, oh yeah, I have a friend and he's looking. And if you feel like a reason to pipe up, but you decide, no, whatever, and you just kind of note when you're kind of slinking back into a defeatist energy, or you're kind of like, hey, you know what? I'm ready to date, or I'm interested, or I have a friend that might be interested. Go with your gut, kind of dig a little, put the feelers out, but pay attention to, like, when the fly hits the net, the vibrations go down to the spider, and the spider realizes from the vibrations of the net, that there's something there telepathically, right? Anyway, so there are messages, vibrations, flies. Listen, pay attention. And I know my guides are like, haha. Yeah, I'm talking to myself as well. I'm not just telling you guys. So, spirit animal partnership. Oh, yeah. So, accept yourself and your colorful personality. Feel confident about being you. You are a joy bringer. Let your community nourish and protect you. Ask for help. Teamwork will give you the best results. Right? So if you're feeling a little down or you want help looking for a partner, even when I was just kind of talking about that scenario, ask your friends. Do you guys know any really amazing men or women that you think I would connect with? And you're talking to people who know the authentic you, who understand your vision, your purpose, your passion. They're not just going to be, oh yeah, I think this person, and they're totally out of your wheelhouse. No, we're not wasting our energy talking to people who aren't on the same frequency or even aligned with where we're headed. So at least there's going to be some alignment that you're connecting to with that person. You're trusting them in asking for that information. Or maybe you put the feelers out. Is that person single or whatever, right? But this is still really saying that you have to flaunt your individuality. You have to flaunt your colors and be proud of who you are. Be proud of that energy of wanting partnership too. Like if you're single and you want partnership, you don't have to feel shame about that at all. You can be independent, you can be successful, you can be content and still want companionship. So wherever you are on that journey, you can just focus on the community, focus on the teamwork, focus on the network, and ask for that to be called in. Dragonfly. This is from our mystical wisdom. Live life to the fullest. Dragonfly is also an energy of illusion, but it's also that iridescent energy too, and it is the energy of the veil. So you might be having dreams of past over loved ones. You might be talking to past over loved ones. You might also, as I said, be talking to a twin flame or a soulmate or both. And you're all helping each other in the higher realms. So even if there's contention in the 3D plane, if you're working together on the higher realms, just make sure you don't have stuck energy in the 3D. But if you have an open flow of energy and you're working with people, that can be across the veil too. So dragonfly energy always signifies that for me, past over loved ones, ancestries, connections. But make sure that you're not, like the spider card indicated, letting life pass you by just because the conditions aren't that great. And I can say that I'm a culprit of that. I'm kind of like bored, really bored. So I'm wanting something different, but I'm also kind of wanting that to come in, right? I want the initiation to happen outside of myself because I feel like I'm always initiating. So it depends on where you are there, but don't let life pass you by. Live life to the fullest, even in the conditions you find yourself in. So maybe it's time to write a book. Maybe it's time to read more or stretch more. And finally, so this is the last message to conclude the session. Thanks, guys, for tuning in with me tonight. Just 4444 on the timestamp. It's really great to connect. I'll be kind of sporadic here and there because I'm back at work, and so it's a little challenging when I'm working full time to come on and do these, because sometimes I am really tired, right? So, and it's also, you guys understand, COVID-19, it affects everyone differently. I've been through a lot, just moved, so I'm still just making sure that my energy is really good and stable before I come on and do a reading. So anyways, with that being said, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe, comment, share, like, hit the notification bell if you want to know when I come online. And yeah, all the other information is in the details if you want to book a reading, etc. So here we go. Balance. Let me see. I'm going to read this, and then this is our bedtime story. But here we go. Balance. It's really beautiful. Here we go. I saw a beautiful sunset tonight too. It was really pretty. And this is the deck that this one is from, right? So it's quite fun. Like I said, these ones usually go deep. So I'm just going to take a sip of water. Yeah, and if you've enjoyed the video, please thumbs up. It's awesome. Helps me grow the channel. And that really helps me continue to bring the videos forward. So, you will teeter in your life, speaks the wild woman. And now is a time to expand your knowledge around how to keep your balance as you ride the waves of your life. Like a surfer dealing with the flow of water under her board, as things arise, you too are being asked to allow your life to unfold fluidly. Ooh. The old thoughts of balance as a static event are now removed as you see the need to reassess how you remain intact, no matter what is happening in your environment around you. So that's a second message of the dragonfly, live life to the fullest. So let's see here. You must simply ride the wave. Focus your desire on you to remain who you are as the wave swells and lets go. Be mindful to take care of yourself in such a way that you keep your balance. Let the magic of who you are remain in your sight. Never lose yourself, no matter what else is going on around you. So that is a very important final message for those of you who listen to the very end here. Spirit is saying, no matter what happens in the next, couple weeks, because I do feel like there's a lot of positive movement. It's positive shifting, but that can also be uncomfortable. There's a lot of what you've asked for actually coming in, just in ways in which we didn't expect, right? So Spirit is really reminding you to stay unattached and really let things unfold naturally instead of getting stuck in your mind conceptually on how things have to unfold for you to be satisfied or happy in life. So it is that surfer energy and that knowledge that you can go with the waves. You can be that queen of water. You can also balance your emotions. You can balance your external environment too. So really beautiful messages, you guys. Thanks again. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. I might be back again for a weekend reading. That would be wonderful. And I'm still waiting because I think my cards come from Hong Kong. But I am waiting for my new cards to come in. So I'm super excited about that. One of the decks is messages from, a partner or a loved one or a prospective partner or an ex even. But those are going to be whispers from them. So messages from that other person. So it's going to be really fun. And then, like I said, I have like the little X-rated one coming in. And I have to make sure I look at the YouTube regulations before I bring that out, but should be interesting. If not, I'll just use it in private readings. But that one should be fun. And yeah, I think that's everything, you guys. Take care of yourselves. Make sure to drink lots of water and get lots of sleep. So, all right. Bye for now. Thanks for watching.